Thank you for this time. Thank you for reserving this time for talking to us. I'm very pleased. I'm very touched by the film.
Thank you so much.
I usually pay much attention to the title of the movie. I watch the movies looking for the why this movie have this title. What, in what sense, what the director intended to say with that. I know sometimes they have marketing reasons for some titles, but in your case, I'd like to ask you and start this conversation with that. Why you say girls will always be girls? In what sense?
Well, so in English, people say boys will be boys. And
Yeah.
this is a phrase that is usually used to excuse bad behavior by boys. And often it
Hmm.
is bad behavior towards girls.
Yeah.
Uh, one, I wanted to make a kind of ironic, cheeky reference to this and say girls will be girls. But in addition to that, in some sense, this film has the teenage girl, the protagonist. She's the girl.
Yeah. Mira.
There's also her Mira, and there's also
Yeah.
her mother, Anila, who
Mhm.
in a way didn't quite get to grow up. So she's a girl in this sense. And then there's a third sense in the title where, in the beginning of the film, Mira becomes the head prefect of this school. So she's put in this position of power, you would say. But through the course of the film, you realize this power is very fragile for girls.
Yeah.
They don't have the same privileges that boys do. So that girls will ultimately be girls until the world changes.
Still in this topic of the title, in Brazilian Portuguese, the title is always girls. Sempre Garotas. That, in this sense, something get lost in the translation. Yeah?
I think so. I mean, you will tell me, like, what is yeah, girls will always be girls. That is the Portuguese translation. Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I get thinking about why always girls. I started the movie. I don't like to watch trailers, and read synopsis and nothing like that. I wanted
Yeah.
to something be surprised by the movie. I started the movie thinking about a science fiction with all girls.
Like the future is female kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yes. Yeah.
I pledge to honor our age old Indian culture and live according to it.
This is the correct length. Uniforms to your knees.
It shall be my constant endeavor to abide by the rules of my school.
Female characters. This I say. Do you consider, however, this is a feminist film?
Yeah, I consider this a feminist film, but I'm a feminist and make this feminist film, and in a sense that I want to put on screen that the part of our experience that I sometimes don't see. So especially for Indian girls and women, I don't see them as sexual beings on screen. I don't see the story of sexual awakening, a mother's desire. These things are very taboo in our culture.
Mm-hmm.
So to put it on screen is very important. But I think sometimes when people say a feminist film, they think like a message film. And for me, for any kind of cinema, I think cinema is not good for a message. You write an essay for this, but I think cinema is really good for having an experience. And so
Okay.
what I want is for people to really experience the world through this girl, Mira, you know? And
Okay.
hopefully, this leaves some kind of perfume or residue and makes them think or reflect. Because it's not that the girls are good in this film and the boys are bad. The girls are very complicated in this film.
But the boys also are complicated, So
Yes,
yeah,
this is how people are, no?
yeah, yeah.
Be careful with boys. Don't talk to them more than necessary.
Are you jealous?
No one interested me ever. Who's this?
It's funny because you said earlier that the about the mother is still not grown up, it's still not mature, and I think you're directing this interpretation to the way she acts with her daughter. And after I watched the movie, I did a little research, and I found this expression in some essays about the movie. The main protagonist had to deal with her mother that is still not growing up, and I question that, you know. It's great to talk to you about that, because I don't think the mother didn't grow up, you know. I think the mother maybe it's too much modern for her, that daughter, you know. How do you meet those great actors, and what are the guidelines you say to us to compose these characters?
Yeah, it's very interesting what you say that, for you, she's quite modern and maybe it's not somebody that she's grown up. For me, she's both of these things. I think sometimes when we watch films, we expect that the character will have one motivation that we understand and they will be simple. But this is just simply not how people are. And for me, this is a mother who really loves her daughter, is very, very smart. She understands what her daughter is doing with this boy, and at every step is a little bit ahead of her daughter. At the same time, there is a part of her that is a little wounded child, a little girl who didn't get to have her own romance, have her own freedoms, the freedoms that her daughter will have to date somebody and maybe break up if it doesn't work out. That freedom she did not have. She married the first boy she was with, and now she's trapped in this life. So there's a part of her that is kind of wounded too. There's a part of her that is a woman who is not treated with as a woman by her husband, and this young man who's a little bit more grown up for his age, a little bit more mature, he gives her attention. She feels a little thrill, and for me it was very important while constructing this character that all of these motivations are present, for her. But in the writing, I had a rule for myself that the mother cannot do anything that she cannot justify to herself. So at every point, she can say, but my daughter was up to no good. That's why I did this. Because I think the character is not always aware of all her motivations.
It's different here. A lot of rules. What if we made a rule that we be honest with each other? No bullshit. Hi, Auntie.
I won't allow anything more than a friendship. This can't affect her academics.
I wouldn't want that.
How do you think Brazilian audience will react to Girls Will Be Girls?
I don't know so much about Brazil, but I feel like there is some similarity in our cultures, in the way we express emotions. We're big with our emotions, the way that it's not as individualized. It's like where the people in your family and in your community have an influence on you. So I feel the way that you see that the world outside the society has a lot of influence on Preeti's character, Mira, and Anila. So I hope there will be recognition. I read on Letterboxd to see as the reviews come. So I wait for the reviews in Portuguese that I will translate and read.
Don't you think it's weird? Tell me the truth. No bullshit.
Okay. Can I ask you to say an invitation for our readers from Papo de Cinema to watch our interview and go watch the movie at the cinemas?
Yes. Hi, I'm Suchi. I'm the writer and director of the film Girls Will Be Girls. And you, the audience of Papo de Cinema, I really invite you to listen to my conversation and read it, and then really go out and watch this film, Girls Will Be Girls. I think it is funny, it is sexy, maybe it takes you back to the time that you had your first love. And then I hope you will post about it, and I will be sure to read it.
Thank you very, very much. Congratulations for your movie. I'd love to talk to you. Hope you have another conversation in the future.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.